What I would like to clarify is that today the talk is on Quran and modern science. You may ask any question on this topic, not any question outside this topic.
I would request that if the chairperson gives me an opportunity, since it's a non-Muslim asking a question, if the chairperson gives the opportunity, we will make only this as the first exception.
Okay, we'll allow this, but let's not make it a habit.
Since the person is not ready to leave the mic, he may think that we may not know the answer. Brothers, we have this rule so that all the questions on the topic are covered. As Dr. Muhammad Naik said, these questions, what have been posed earlier, which was rejected, since he was a Muslim, we didn't allow. Since you're a non-Muslim and you're so enthusiastic, but I think the chairperson will not give a second chance to another non-Muslim who breaks the rules.
We'll allow him. Usually when Zakir goes abroad also, we have a session called open question answer session on the topic or out of the topic. Today it is not like that. Today it's only on the topic.
The brother posed the question that why does Islam allow a man to marry more than one wife? For remaining questions, all your questions answered in that cassette, even this. But since you asked here, I'm just giving the reply. That Quran is the only religious book on the face of the earth which says marry only one. There's no other religious book on the face of the earth. Whether you read the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, no religious book says marry only one except the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran says in Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse number 3, it says, marry woman of your choice in 2s, 3s or 4s. But if you can't do justice, marry only one. If you can't do justice, marry only one. Otherwise, if you can do justice, Quran has put an upper limit, 2, 3 or 4. Maximum 4, not more than that. Previous religions gave permission for a man to marry as many wives as you want. Quran put an upper restriction of maximum 4. You know why? Because if you think logically, if you analyze, but it says at the same time, in Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 129, it is difficult to do justice between your wives. It's difficult. Therefore, do not turn away from them altogether. Marrying more than one wife, you don't get more sawab. You don't get more blessings. There is no hadith saying that if you marry more than one wife, you get more sawab. There's a hadith which says that if you marry, you complete half your deen. So somebody asked me a question at the time, does it mean if I marry twice, I complete my full deen? No, marriage takes you away from promiscuity, from fornication, therefore it is fard. But whether you marry 1 or 2, yet you're only completing half your deen. The reason why Islam gives permission for polygyny, that's the right word, is because if you analyze, men and women are born in equal proportion. But in the pediatric age itself, since the female is the stronger sex medically, if you ask any pediatrician, he'll tell you, the female can fight the germs and disease much better than the male. So more female children live than the male children. There are more deaths in the male children than female children. When you grow up, there are accidents, death due to cigarette smoking, death due to war. More male die than female. War in Afghanistan. Do you know more than 1 million people died? Mainly they were gents. Whatever it is, whatever you said. More men die than female. If you analyze the statistics, India is one of the few countries in which there is more male than female. You know why? Because of female infanticide. Every day, 3,000 fetuses are being aborted when they identified that they are females. More than 1 million aborted every year in India on being identified they are female. That's the reason. Otherwise, if you see the statistics of America, there are more than 7.8 million females than males in America alone. In New York alone, there is 1 million female more than male. And out of the population of New York, 1/3 are gay, sodomite, Luth. There are more than 25 million gays in America. That means there are more than 30 million females who can't find husband in America alone. In UK alone, there are 4 million females more than male. In Germany alone, 5 million females more than male. In Russia alone, 7 million females more than male. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone knows there are how many million females more than males in this world. I am asking you a question that suppose my sister or your sister happens to live in America, and suppose everyone agrees with your philosophy that every man should marry one wife, and every man in America marries a woman, still there will be 7.8 million females, and plus, since the gays also don't get married, there will be more than 25 to 30 million females who can't find husbands. If my sister happens to be one of those unfortunate lady who has not been married and the market is saturated, the only option remaining for my sister is to marry a man who already has a wife or become public property.
The next question from a brother on the left.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adiyar Anwar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything. Some verses we prepared like this. Why plural is coming?
The brother posed the question that why has the word we used in the Quran for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is it more than one? Brother, we in Arabic, the two types. One is we for plural, one is royal plural. Royal plural. Like for example, if you know the Rajiv Gandhi, how he used to speak, he used to say, hum dekhna chahte hai, hum. That hum was not plural, it was singular. It's a royal plural, it's called. The same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some places uses I, some places uses we. The we in Arabic does not indicate plurality. It means royal plural. Actually it is singular. So we, when it says we have created you, it means singular Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran clearly states in Surah Ikhlas, chapter 112, verse number 1, Qul huwallahu ahad. Say he is Allah one and only. Allah is only one, not more than one. Hope that answers the question.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I would like to know whether organ transplant and organ donation are permitted in Islam.
The sister posed a question that is organ transplantation or donation allowed in Islam or not? There is no verse in the Holy Quran directly saying that whether you should give or you should not give. It's silent on that issue. There were various conferences taking place by various ulama throughout the world, including in Malaysia, in Jeddah, in Riyadh, even here, on this issue where organ transplantation is allowed or not. By the consensus of the ulamas of the world, today they say that organ transplantation is allowed if you satisfy the three conditions. First is the organ that are going to give to the person. The person, if he receives the organ, his life will be saved. Only if his life is in danger, and then if he wants the organ, then it's allowed. Point number 2, the person donating the organ, he should not do it for economical reasons, not for money. Not for getting 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees. Third is after the person donates the organ, it should not cause loss of his life. Today science tells that there are certain organs in the body, for example the kidney. One kidney is sufficient for a human being to survive and lead a normal life. The second is an additional. So if, suppose my mother, if she has both the kidney failure, and if I donate one kidney, surely Allah will not hold me responsible. So but natural, if it doesn't cause a loss to my life, I can't say I want to donate my heart. If my heart is taken out, I'll die. So I can't donate my heart. I can only donate those organs which will not cause loss to my life. And I should not do it for economical reasons, point number 2. And third, it should save the life. This is the consensus of ulamas of the conference that took place in Malaysia, in Riyadh, in Jeddah, in India. In India, the ulamas were reluctant, but now if you ask the Fiqh Academy of India, even they say it should not be done. But if it is used to saving the life as a last resort, you can give your organ as a donation. Hope that answers the question.
The brother on my right.
Good evening, everybody. I'm a student of Sabu Siddiq. My name is Harsh Waghela. I want to ask a question that after the death of human being, dead body should be burnt out or should be buried?
The brother posed the question that after a human being dies, should his body be burnt or should it be buried? Let's analyze scientifically which is more appropriate. Brother, as I told in my talk, or in the question and answer time, I believe, that the elements, the constituent of human beings, is present in lesser or greater quantity in the soil, in the earth. So we are created from earth, we should go back to earth, it's logical. It's more easier for us to go back into the earth, point number 1. Point number 2 is that if we burn a body, there is pollution. There's environmental hazard. Environmental hazard is there. When you bury a body, there's no environmental hazard. In fact, the place where you bury, point number 3, the ground and the surrounding ground becomes more fertile. Point number 4, it is very cheap to bury. You don't require any money. Earth is freely available. There are graveyards. But to cremate, to burn, you require tons and tons of wood. Therefore, every year, if you statistics, our government goes in loss of millions of rupees because they're burning wood. Loss to environment, environmental problem, hazard, and plus waste of money. If you calculate the amount of people that are dying, amount of people you are burning, it's a loss of money, hazard to the environment. It's much more logical and scientific to bury the body than to burn. Hope that answers the question.
I would, after the next 2 questions are over, I will allow some questions on slip. I'm told that some ladies would have written questions on slips. They would not like to ask on mic, or there are some other people also. So we'll allow some questions. The questions which have come on slip can be passed on to me after the question. And unless if there is some brother who's a non-Muslim, I have told them they have not had enough opportunity, so that we will make an exception to that. They can ask on the mic. Otherwise, I read questions from the slip after the next 2 questions are over.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khalid and I am a student. It's mentioned in Quran that sun and other planets revolve and rotate in a fixed orbit. And at other place relating to the doomsday, it's mentioned that earth will collide with sun in somewhat a spiral form. When revolution and rotation can, then the phenomenon of collision takes place, how is it possible?
The brother posed the question that it says that the sun and the earth rotate, and some places it says sun and the earth will collide. Some places it says that. But as I told you, there are certain statements in the Quran talking about the signs of the day of judgment. And I myself quoted in Surah Qiyamah, chapter 75, verse number 8 and 9, that the sun and the moon will join together. When? On the day of judgment, not today. It is giving you signs of day of judgment. It's not telling you that today it will happen. The name of the surah is Surah Qiyamah, day of resurrection, and gives various signs that the moon will be buried in darkness, the stars will fall down, the ocean will swell up, etc. These are signs of the day of judgment. Has it happened? No. But before the world ends, it will surely happen. Hope that answers the question. Nowhere does the Quran say a normal circumstance will happen.
Excuse me, to be fair to the people who are already at the mics, next 3-4 we'll allow the system, what I'm asking, the volunteer told me, allow some people. What I would say, one question I'll ask now on the slip, then on the mic, one on the slip, then on the mic. I think that would be more preferable. So some people, they said they're feeling bad, they stood for some time. So I think the next 2 or 3 people can be allowed to stand, the rest, beyond that, the volunteers can just ask them to please be seated. I think that would be more preferable. Thank you. The question on the slip is, it is mentioned in one verse of the Quran that Allah is the Lord of the 2 east and 2 west. How can you explain this verse of the Quran scientifically?
The question posed was that the Holy Quran mentions that Allah is the Lord of 2 east and 2 west. How can you explain scientifically? What the person is referring to is a verse in the Holy Quran from Surah Rahman, chapter number 55, verse number 17, which says, Rabbul Mashriqani wal Rabbul Maghribani, that Allah is the Lord of 2 east and 2 west. The Arabic word used here is, in Arabic, we have 2 types of plural. One is dual plural and one is plural more than 2. Here, Rabbul Mashriqani is dual plural, that Allah is the Lord of 2 east and Lord of 2 west. Let's see what science has to say about that. And we know that the sun rises from the east and it sets in the west. But science tells us today that the sun rises from the due east only on 2 days, exact east. In the other times, if you notice, the point of rising of the sun keeps on varying. It rises exactly due east only on 2 days, the 2 days of equinox. All the other days, it either rises south or north of east. Similarly, it